Hey, you, welcome back to the channel. And guys, today we want to talk about Startup. This is season 1, episode 2. And guys, I'm starting to really like this show, Startup. As a person who's become quite interested in the cryptocurrency world, this show delves into that world on from multiple perspectives of characters, all intertwined into this new coin called Gen Coin. This new algorithm that could change the world, similar to ideas like Bitcoins and various things like that. And we had a cliffhanger on the show from episode 1 where Nick's taken hostage by Ronald, and Ronald's taking Nick hostage, as we got to understand, because of the nature of his father's business, and taking all this money from unscrupulous characters in the drug business, uh, illegal money, and basically moving this money for these individuals. And so Ronald's there to collect his money, and thinking that Nick's father's run off with the money, Nick lets him know that he has his money and is stored on what appears to be the Gencoin wallet. So this is all very interesting because what's happening with the character of Ronald, as we can see, is he's very conflicted within the world of crime and violence. He has a family that seems like a very good family. Son, he's very much concerned about that son. A similar course to the one in which Ronald himself has been on, and trying to find a way out, trying to go legit. We got to see last week Ronald do everything he can to release a rival gang person or someone from the opposing end of their business interests, and this person is murdered, whereas Ronald wanted to let him go. So he's very much conflicted. He doesn't want to be involved in this anymore. Uh, he's actually going to get his son when gunfire breaks out. It appears to be some type of gang violence incident, drive-by shooting. Son's almost killed, and at this point, we get to understand Ronald is very much reflecting on, hey, I could have lost my son that quick. I could have, had this tragedy happen due to the nature of, my business. And so, as we got to see from episode 1, he's offered this business proposal from Nick and Izzy to keep his money invested within Gen Coin. And, Ronald, at this stage in the game, doesn't, think that's a good idea. He wants his money. But we also get to see that Ronald is a thinking person. He's not just a gang banger. He's doing his research on Gen Coin. Although he's acted in a way that, like, he's not interested, he just wants his money. We do get to see him considering that, hey, it's time to get off the streets. It's time to do something that's going to be positive and beneficial to my family down the road, and I'm looking for a way out. And so that's where Ronald's coming from in the show. And as we got to see in the end, Ronald does, after all the events based on what happens with his family and his son, which is a very powerful scene, where he's trying to help his son understand that, this is not the world that he wants him in, that he's done what he's done out of necessity for the family to survive, but if given the proper opportunities, that this would not be his choice in life. And so good acting between the son and Ronald. And I'm interested in seeing more of what the son's going to do in the role. I do kind of foresee this bad omen what could happen with Ronald and his son, and what's his connection back to the gang life, trying to get out, and not really being able to do that, not being let out of the gang world. And so I see a lot of problems with Ronald as he's now crossing over to, maybe I guess we could say, a more legitimate role with Gencoin from his criminal operations. And pretty much what's going on with Nick and Izzy throughout this episode is they're trying to get Ronald's money back to him, and obviously they got to get it out of the coins, cashed out now, and moved into bank accounts. And they're going through various black markets to get Ronald's money, and they're coming up short. They're really coming up short with Ronald's money. They only score about 80,000 on the first cash out, but Nick's heading to various banks trying to get as much money as he can off of credit cards and various things. And there is a total of $300,000. So it just so happened everything works out as we got to see that Ronald makes the decision right at the right time to become an investor in Gencoin. And it's just all kind of timed at the right point in the episode, because they're obviously short with Ronald's money, and Izzy's kind of got her gun ready in case things don't go how they think they should, or how they hope they should. And so everything kind of works out where now they're all partners. Now they're all working together and coming together. Now it's very interesting as we get to see Agent Raz in this, and he's just dealing with taking on a new partner in the FBI. And obviously I think she's going to have some interesting story, but I'm not sure if Raz is going to end up as a member of the crypto gang here, or is he just going to be on this continuous hunt down after Nick's father's money and his cut. But the way it's looking like maybe my prediction is Agent Roz is going to be kind of cut into this gang, this ragtag team here, trying to create this future coin and change the world. So I thought the episode was quite interesting, and I am really liking this show, and I'm going to continue to review it. And if you're a cryptocurrency person, I think you're really going to like this show. I think you're going to get something out of this show. And even if you're a person who isn't into the crypto space, it's just a kind of standalone show you can watch anyway. Get something out of it. It's very interesting. The family dynamic, the psychological dynamic, like the kind of person that FBI agent Roz has become in his battle from going to good cop for bad or good cop to bad cop. Nick's journey, which to me seems to be less about the money part and more about creating this microprocessing dream he has. But then again, I could be wrong, because there does seem to be, as I remember from episode 1 with Nick, this situation where it seems that his girlfriend's father's kind of financing their home and making it possible for them to live in this very gorgeous beach house. And Nick, his business at this point is not where he wants it to be. So with Nick, it could be both motivation of money and trying to make the world better, because there seems to be a type of level of altruism from Nick, in that Nick seems to want to help people, especially from third world countries and that don't even have bank accounts. And so ideas like Gencoin is going to get this done. Of course, Izzy on a similar path like Nick. Is he still having this very funny and interesting, troublesome situation with her family as she has to live there. She's blowing out the power in the house, trying to run all these servers to create the gen coins and various things like that. So yeah, a great show, guys. I'm kind of glad that I've caught this show late because now I can kind of go from episode to episode, and there's a lot of catching up to do. Whereas when I catch up with shows, sometimes I find myself where I can't wait until the following week's episode to get here, so I won't have that problem with the startup. Guys, tell me what you think about this show. If you find it interesting, I think if you're in the cryptocurrency space, you will. And guys, if you like content like this, don't forget to like, subscribe. And until next time, take care.